What up, Rough Leaders? Welcome back to my channel. We're back in this neck of the woods. This is South Ruimveldt Gardens and Houston, and we're taking a look at progress on the 4 Points Hotel and Resort. And that's still the building ahead. That's Sheriff's Mall. Still a frame. Right, Sheriff's Mall is still a frame. But let's take a closer look at this building. One of several new hotels being constructed here in Guyana. It's the 4 Points Hotel and Resort. It's a massive structure, and what they've been doing recently, that is in the last month or so since the last time I made a video of this building, is they have been constructing the internal walls, I think, internal structures of this building. They've also completed what seems to be a gymnasium, a large convention center, a large structure in the rear. We just want to see what that looks like.
Distance 2 miles. Duration 27 minutes 41 seconds. Pace 18 minutes 34 seconds per mile.
So in the rear they seem to have constructed something that looks like a large gymnasium, a large building. It could be an indoor pool, or it might just be part of their convention center, meeting room. We'll know when it's completed. But what you can see now is that there are 4 stories, and they're building internal walls. There are prefab, it seems a prefab structure. In other words, they've put together a predetermined, prefabricated frame, and now they're installing the steel studs. If it were a wooden building, we would call those studs. Now this is Caneview Avenue at the end of South Ruimveldt Gardens. Remember, all of this used to be sugarcane field. That's Caneview Avenue looking east. And right off of Caneview Avenue is this new hotel. And this is this highway. It's now called Heroes Highway. As you've seen in previous videos, Heroes Highway. We're looking north. South Ruimveldt Gardens, and we are now standing in Houston. So for the context, to give you the context, to those of you who haven't been following this channel, we have been following the development of Guyana after oil and gas.
Attention, low battery.
I started posting videos on this channel in 2017. Oil and gas in Guyana, oil production started in 2020, that is December 2019, and since then Guyana has been an oil producing country. And I still get comments from people on this channel saying that Guyana does not produce any commodity that can be exported, any commodity that is in demand. This is almost 5 years after Guyana became an oil producing country. 5 years after Guyana has been exporting oil. People are still arguing with me in the comments saying that Guyana cannot justify a higher value for the Guyana dollar because Guyana doesn't have any major exports. Well, oil is a major export.
Attention,
oil is
low
the major
battery.
export. And those who can't see it are in fact blind, right? Because Guyana has been exporting oil for the past 5 years, and oil is the reason why all of this construction, new construction of hotels, construction of new hotels, construction of roads and bridges, all of that is possible because Guyana now has oil. But that is not yet registered. Somebody is building a new warehouse, it seems, in the distance. That's on Ruimveldt Street. We looked at that last time we were here. There seems to be some major progress in here. And Sheriff is building a mall on this side. Sheriff aspires to be a major conglomerate. We're building a mall, and in the back, that building in the back, that's Guyana Water Authority. So the Water Authority is building there. Construction they're building in the back, in the rear. So now we can take a look at the south side. This is the south side of the 4 Points Hotel. So 4 Points is one of many hotels being built. We've covered some of them in the past. There are 3 Marriott hotels, 2 new ones being built at Ogle and Timeri, and one in Kingston. There is Kings and Best Western, and we're looking at those new hotels under construction. This one is 4 Points. 4 Points Hotel Resort being built here in South Ruimveldt and Houston. And like I said in past videos, this area in Houston is...
Attention, low battery.
This area in Houston is one of the most rapidly developing parts of the country. There are a number of commercial and residential buildings being constructed in this area. It's always thrilling to come back and watch the progress being made here. To come and watch the progress being made here in Houston on a weekly basis is always thrilling because every time you come, you're going to see something new. So what we're doing is we are documenting and cataloging the transformation of the Guyanese society by oil and gas. Like I said, all of this rapid development in the fastest growing economy in the world is made possible because Guyana now exports oil. Now, to clarify for those people who still have not read the contract, ExxonMobil signed a contract with Guyana which gives 14.25% of all of the oil produced by the consortium. What that means is Guyana receives 14.25% of the total number of barrels of oil produced. Guyana now has about 16 billion barrels of oil in wells, in oil wells, and ExxonMobil is operating about half a dozen wells right now, about 6 wells are being operated, and they produce 650,000 barrels of oil per day. That is constantly being improved and increased so that eventually we'll be producing 1 million barrels of oil per day. Guyana gets 14.25%, so that out of 1 million barrels of oil, Guyana gets 140,250 barrels of oil out of every million. Guyana is responsible for selling that oil on the oil market. In other words, Guyana has to employ sellers, that is, dealers, that make arrangements with countries like India and China and so on to buy the oil. In the beginning, most of that oil was being bought by ExxonMobil. But then after a couple of years, Guyana started selling that oil to India and to other places. So Guyana is actually selling, exporting oil by the barrels. People simply don't understand that. They're not getting cash from ExxonMobil, they're getting payment in barrels of oil. So just to clarify that this is an oil exporting country. The major resource that Guyana exports now in 2024 is oil. Oil accounts for about 2/3 of the country's GDP. Right, that's looking back at where we came from, just gives you a perspective. Behind the white structure, that's the new 4 Points Hotel. This structure in front of us, that's the Sheriff Mall being constructed. And in the background, that's the Guyana Water Authority Inc. And I just wanted to come over here and show you before I end this video. This land a few months ago was simply covered with white sand. They had built a fence. As you can see, they built a fence in the distance and foundations, and very soon, the next time we come here, we'll probably start seeing building being raised out of the foundations. And over in that direction, that's the shopping complex that is being constructed. We'll visit it next time you're in this neck of the woods, but for today I'm just going to show you what's happening here at the 4 Points Hotel. So basically what I'm saying is that Guyana is now an oil producing country. Guyana has 16 billion barrels of oil in the ground, and that is the reason why the Guyana dollar should be stronger. In other words, for those who simply can't understand what the justification is for my argument is that Guyana now is producing one of the most in-demand export commodities, which is oil, and that is now accounting for 60%, 40-60% of the country's GDP. The GDP is now, for this year, is going to be somewhere around $28 billion. Remember, before oil, before 2020, before 2019, Guyana's GDP was under $4 billion. Now, remember in 2015, I actually took a check, I looked at it, it was about $3.7 billion in 2015. Now it's going to be somewhere around $28 billion, between 25 and $28 billion. And that is the reason why Guyanese currency should be stronger. Right, so for those of you who still can't see it because maybe there is some kind of intellectual blindness, Guyana is an oil producing country. Guyana exports oil. Guyana has 16 billion barrels of oil in reserve. The government of Guyana receives about $3 billion in cash every year from the sale of oil and royalties it collects from ExxonMobil and the consortium. So this is where the money is coming from. It's not coming from agriculture. It's not coming from gold, which we also export. It's not coming from timber or forestry. It's coming from oil. And because oil has transformed the economy, as you can see from the construction that's being shown in these videos, because oil is what is transforming the economy. Oil is what is going to back the Guyana dollar. So that's what's happening here, guys. That's the argument that I've been trying to convey for the last month or so, when I started showing you videos of banks and the new banks that are being built and the currency, talking about the currency. The justification for the rise in the value of the Guyana dollar is that the Guyana dollar is now backed by oil. Right? It's a petrodollar. Guyana dollar is being backed by the petrodollar, which means that oil is being sold in US dollars, and Guyana can now consistently generate US dollars from the sale of oil, which means that because the US dollar is a reserve currency, Guyana has an adequate supply of reserve currency with which we can buy assets, invest in the economy, our economy and other economies, and become a much more diversified and global player in the world markets. That is why I support the rise in the value of the Guyana dollar. Alright, so for those people who are constantly arguing that Guyana can't justify a stronger dollar because Guyana doesn't export anything, it's because those people have a blind spot. And if you hear those people or you see them in the comments showing this blind spot, remind them that Guyana exports oil. Guyana is an oil exporting country, just like Saudi Arabia, just like the United Arab Emirates, just like every other oil exporting country. It takes some time, I guess, for people to adjust. In other words, people are, caught in this rigid cognitive rigidity where they can't change their understanding or their concept or their map of the world or of Guyana, what they believe about Guyana. But the whole reason for posting these videos is to help people who have difficulty adjusting to change, to help them understand that Guyana is no longer the same country that it was when you left, when you migrated 10 or 20 or 40 years ago. It is a different country. It is not. That's what's up, guys. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening here in the fastest growing economy in the world. And that is actually a fact. 50% annual growth. Guyana is now the fastest growing economy in the world. And this is the new 4 Points Hotel and Resort. Share in the comments below when you think this hotel will be completed. It seems as if it's moving slowly, but eventually, I guess once they finish the internal structures, it will move rapidly. And I would say sometime in 2025, this hotel should be completed. So tell me what you think. Share this video. Let people know what's happening here in Guyana. Later!